Hi, this is Greg Monty. I'm the director for the Center for Energy Research and Technology at NCA&T. And this is a CERT educational series on the topic of recycling called Why Recycle? Let's start off talking about waste decomposition. Decomposition happens when chemical bonds that hold material together disintegrate and the material breaks down into simpler substances. And decomposition rates depend on the amount of oxygen available, the temperature, and the moisture. Why does recycling and why does waste matter? Humans create about 4 pounds of waste every single day. You can see a pile of waste on the right. Waste goes mostly into the landfills, takes up a lot of space, and takes a long time to decompose. Not all waste is the same. Solid waste is garbage, refuse, or sludge from wastewater treatment plants, water supply treatment plants, or air pollution control materials from industrial, commercial, mining, and agricultural operations. And recyclables can be converted into new materials and objects. Food waste is food that is either discarded or uneaten. And hazardous waste has substantial or potential threats to public health or the environment, such as nuclear waste. Let's play a game. Open that packet next to your station, or at your station, and organize the time cards first from the lowest amount of time, 1 month, to the longest amount of time, 1,000,000 years. And match the picture cards to the time frame cards based on how long you think it's going to take for each item to decompose. You put one picture card with each time frame card in this game. What picture did you match with 1 month? If you chose paper, you were right. Paper takes 1 month to decompose. Every year, Americans use more than 90 million tons of paper. That's about 700 pounds per person per year, mostly from packaging and junk mail. And 1 ton of recycled paper can save 17 trees, 380 gallons of oil, 3 cubic yards of landfill space, 4,000 kilowatts of energy, and 7,000 gallons of water. Let's improve your timeline, because some of you may not have gotten paper correct. Match the paper card to the 1 month card, and then update the rest of your timeline. What picture did you match with 3 months? If you chose cardboard, you were right. It's fairly similar to paper. Cardboard takes 3 months to decompose, and every year Americans use 100 billion cardboard boxes. That's 300 boxes per person, or almost 1 box per day per person. Mostly it's packaging for products and deliveries. And recycling 1 ton of cardboard is similar to paper, saving 17 trees, about 50 gallons of oil, 9 cubic yards of landfill space, 4,000 kilowatts of electricity, and 7,000 gallons of water. So let's improve your timeline again. Match the cardboard card with the 3 month card, and then update the rest of your timeline. What picture did you match with 10 years? If you chose plastic bags, you were right. That's a tough one. Plastic bags take 10 years to decompose. Every year, Americans use 100 billion plastic bags, mostly at the grocery store. That's 300 bags per person, almost 1 bag per day, and the average plastic bag is only used for about 12 minutes. And, unfortunately, we only recycle about 1 plastic bag for every 200 bags that are used. Bags photodegrade. That means they break down into smaller toxic bits. They contaminate the soils, the oceans, and the waterways, and they cause, unfortunately, 100,000 sea turtles and other marine animals' death each year. Let's improve your timeline once again. Match the plastic bags with the 10-year card and update the rest of your timeline. What picture did you match with 20 years? If you chose waxed cups, you were right. Wax cups take 20 years to decompose, and Americans use 60 billion waxed cups each year. That's 184 cups per person per year, one every other day, mostly used for to-go beverages at your local coffee shops. And 2 million trees are cut down each year to make cups. 20 million, trees are cut down each year to make cups. And this is because you can't use recycled paper to make cups. They must be made from original paper. Let's improve our timelines again. Match the wax cup card to the 20-year card and update the rest of your timeline. What picture did you match with 100 years? If you chose tin cans, you were right. Tin cans take 100 years to decompose, and 130 billion cans are used each year in the U.S., mostly for food products such as canned vegetables and fruits, and 63%, which is a pretty high number, of cans are recycled in the United States. Let's improve your timeline again. We're making our way through to the end, but you still may have some errors in the rest of your timeline. Match the tin cans with the 100-year card and update the rest of your timeline. What picture did you match with the 200-year time card? If you chose aluminum cans, you were right. Aluminum cans take 200 years to decompose. Americans use 80 billion aluminum cans each year, and recycling turns out to save 95% of the energy needed to make cans from raw materials. So making a new can can be very, very energy efficient if you use recycled aluminum. A recycled can returns to the grocery shelf in just 90 days because of our recycling systems. And recycling cans can reduce air pollution from can manufacturing by 95% as well. Let's improve your timeline again. Match the aluminum cans card with the 200 years card and update the rest of your timeline. What picture did you match with 500 years? Getting into very long time frames now. If you chose plastic bottles, you were right. Plastic bottles take 500 years to decompose. Every year, Americans use 50 billion plastic bottles, about 153 bottles per person per year, and only 23% of those plastic bottles are recycled. A year's worth of bottles uses 17 million barrels of oil, and a barrel of oil is about 55 gallons of oil. Most plastic bottles end up in landfills and oceans. So let's improve the timeline once again. Not too many cards left. Match your plastic bottles with the 500-year card and update the rest of your timeline. What picture did you match with 600 years? If you chose Styrofoam, you were right. Styrofoam takes 600 years to decompose, even longer than plastic. Americans use 25 billion Styrofoam cups per year, and office workers use approximately 500 disposable cups each year. Styrofoam cannot be completely recycled, and when heated, Styrofoam releases toxic chemicals. Styrofoam fills 25% of our landfill space and is being banned in many places across the U.S. Glass is tough to decompose. Only glass remains in this game, and glass takes 1 million years to decompose. Americans use 35 billion glass containers per year, about one every 3 days, one bottle every 3 days per person. And 80% of the beverage 80% are used for beverage containers, 20% are used for food containers, and 25% are recycled. 11 states today are requiring deposits on bottles to encourage recycling. I'll bet you find some of these recycling times surprising. We create a lot of waste, and waste lasts a very long time. And however, we can choose to create less waste. This is usually covered in the phrase reduce, reuse, and recycle. So the first step in proper treatment of waste is to reduce the amount of waste you generate. This is the very best thing you can do. Just don't generate as much waste. And how do we do that? Well, in some cases they redesign for reuse and recycling of the materials and processes. This helps a lot. So reuse is when you take an item and it doesn't have to be thrown away, but you get to repurpose it. And recycling is recycling of all the trash that is recyclable. So anything that can be recycled is what recycling covers. So we reduce, we reuse, and we recycle. Recycling. There are two different kinds, at least. Upcycling is when something is recycled into something of greater value, and downcycling is when something is recycled into something of lesser value. Upcycling of plastic bottles is shown here. You take a plastic bottle, you go through a process, and you convert it to clothing. And this can be done in an amazingly soft cloth material, and it's being done right here in Guilford County by a local company. And remember, when it comes to waste, waste isn't waste until you waste it. We'd like to thank you for participating in this CERT educational series called Why Recycle. Thank you very much.